Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first cybersecurity awareness training session for our mid-year segment. We will just be giving everybody 5 more minutes or so to join. So bear with us. We'll start officially at 5 past 10, just to give everybody an opportunity to join. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. I think we are going to start. It's 5 minutes past 10, and we have quite a bit to cover this morning. So, welcome to our first cybersecurity awareness training for our mid-year segment. We are going to be covering quite a bit over the next 8 weeks. This will be the first session of over 8 weeks, every time at a Friday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning. You can use the same link to attend all of the sessions. So just by way of introduction, my name is Vanessa Maresh. I am an empowerment specialist at Salt Essential IT, and I would love to just welcome you to our session today. We hope that it will add a lot of value and help you to be more cyber resilient when you are on the internet or working online. So I will go through the agenda shortly just to prepare you. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. You will notice that you have been muted and your camera has been disabled. I will go and enable that towards the end of the sections if you have any comments or feedback that you want to give us. Otherwise, you are able to use the chat button. Please do use the chat button to communicate with us. If we don't see that immediately, I will be checking the chat periodically. If you've got any comments or any feedback for us, you please do use the chat button. So like I said, the session is planned for an hour. We probably won't be taking that long. We do leave time at the end of the session for a bit of Q&A and also for the link for the test. Yes, every week you will be provided with a link to a test to test your knowledge, as well as the link to the test you can do, and your scores will be posted. We will also provide you with a recording of today's session so that you can go and review it in your own time, and you are more than welcome to share this recording with anyone that you feel will benefit from it. The same with the link that you use to join or to register. Please, our mandate is to try and train every single Namibian over the next few years. So you are welcome to share this link with as many people as possible, anybody that you think will benefit from attending our cybersecurity awareness training sessions. This will not be technical training. You will not receive, unfortunately, any technical certification for it. This training is specifically aimed at the normal people, the people working for businesses, the people operating online, our normal folk that have to be safe and secure while operating on the internet. So without further ado, we want to kick off our session. I would now like to hand over to Mrs. Linda Ipinge, the Director of the Directorate of ICT Development from the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. We are very honored to have her on the call today, and she's going to take us through an introduction, a short introduction as to the purpose and reasons for these sessions and how it supports the National Cybersecurity Awareness Plan and Strategy. So over to you, Melinda.
Thank you, Vanessa. A very good morning to all of you on this call. We appreciate your being on this call this morning, for taking our time, of course, for a very good course, because we intend to empower you with information that are not only relevant to your work environment, but also to your personal life, and those of the lives of those that are closer to you in your circle, either your parents or your children and all that. So we're doing this training in line with the National Cybersecurity Strategy and Awareness Raising Plan, which was endorsed by Cabinet for implementation. We started implementing this strategy already from 2022, around November, December. We signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Salt Essential IT to offer this free training to all of us. So it's free of charge. Salt is not charging the government any single cent. The idea is really just, as I said, we're implementing the strategy, which is built on 5 pillars. And one of those pillars is really national, regional, continental and international relations and collaboration, for us to collaborate and ensure that we build a cyber resilient nation. So within that framework or the agreement or the MOU, we have agreed that is anyone? If somebody's talking?
I will just mute people if they by mistake unmute themselves. Please continue.
All right. So within that framework, we then agree with Salt Essential that we'll be hosting these free sessions. They can be virtual, like this today. These are aimed at everybody else. They can also be physical sessions. We've been to organizations, we've been to schools physically, where we then conveyed the message. So our like I said, our strategy is built on 5 pillars. One, I indicated already that it's about collaboration. The other one is about legislative framework. It calls for us to have legislative and policy framework in place. The other one is about capacity building, um, for us to be able to capacitate everybody at all levels. The other one is on the identification and protection of critical infrastructure, information infrastructure, just to know which are the critical infrastructure and how can we protect your water, your energy, your health sectors. Yeah, the other pillar then is on awareness creation, where we are focusing then on making sure that we create awareness, because at the end of the day, the clicking starts with you and I. You might be in a particular environment, work setup, but if you receive a spam email or phishing email, it's you and I clicking on that link and then creating havoc on our network. It's you and I receiving these emails from DHL that we don't expect any parcel, yet you and I click on that link and we don't know what might happen. It's you and I answering those calls from the strangers that we have won money and we entertain that. So the purpose of us is really just to educate you so that you are aware. What type of threats are there? How do you protect yourself? Because it starts with you. And again, as parents, as guardians, as elder siblings, as daughters, we have the responsibility to also convey these messages out there to all our family members. Your children, as parents, as guardians, who do you check who they talk to? What content do they watch while online? So these sessions actually aim at really empowering you with information for you to be safe online. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Belinda, for that introduction. With that being said, as we have a lot of material to work through, we are going to start off with the session. So please do take your notes. Remember, there's going to be a test afterwards. We also do have, for those who pass the test, those who do well in the test, we'll be handing out some digital cybersecurity superhero badges, which you can then use to brag with on social media. So please make your notes as we go through the session. Like I said, first of the 8 sessions we are going to do today. So just for the purposes of explaining what we're going to be attending to today specifically, we're going to have a look at cybercrime, what it is. I mean, if you're here, I'm sure that you already have an idea of what it is, but it's the reach has increased so much. We started off a couple of years ago with it being a $1 billion US problem. Today it's a $10 trillion US problem. So the struggle is real, the issue is real, and we're going to dive a bit into what cybercrime is, and then obviously also how we can protect ourselves. We're going to be looking specifically at personal information today. Personal information, we don't always appreciate how personal information can be used to commit cybercrime, and what we put out there on the internet, how it can actually be used to infiltrate our accounts and so on. So personal information, super important that you are aware of what it is and how it can be used against you. Then we're going to look at some risky spaces. As with everything, there are risky places that we go to, if we go to physically or virtually, but you need to understand what those risky spaces are. Where are they? Not to say you can't go there, but you do need to be aware of them. And then finally, we're going to have a look at social engineering, what it is and how it forms part of what we call the cyber kill chain, how that's used as a component of, and one of the biggest components of actually committing cyber crime. Then we'll have a quick activity, some Q&A, and finally the test. So I hope everybody is ready. Let's go. So firstly, let's have a look at cybercrime. Cybercrime includes everything from theft or embezzlement to data hacking and destruction. And it really started with, or cybercrime really started to take off with this, actually with the invention of social media. Because again, people didn't understand how vulnerable they're making themselves by actually going on social media. And again, we'll repeat this a couple of times. The idea is not for you to stop working online. The idea is not for you to have social media accounts. We want you to have social media accounts. We want you to operate online because that's how we are going to progress as a Namibian nation. Everybody is online, but you just need to know how to use it safely. So social media was really the start of the cyber crime wave or trend. And then after that, obviously with COVID-19, lots of people had to work from home, but nobody received training on how to work safely when they are not protected within the network of the cyber protection within your business or organization. So that also then led to a lot more cybercrime being committed, again, because our people were not made aware of what they are exposing to cyber criminals. So I think that it's not a big surprise. Cybercrime is here. It's been here for a while, and it is probably only going to get worse. And the only way that we can combat it is if we have this awareness, if you have this awareness, and also if you share this awareness with as many people as possible. The more people are in the know, the less people will become a victim to cybercrime. What is a key takeaway from these training sessions, which we all need to realize, is that you are the last line of defense. You are the person doing the clicking, as Melinda mentioned. You're the person doing the clicking. You're the person downloading the stuff. You're the person sharing the stuff. So please be aware that it starts with you. You can have the best hardware and software in place. It starts with you as an individual to become more cyber resilient and to protect yourself, your family, and your business from cybercrime. Next up, I'm going to play you a short clip on what is personal information, and then we're going to look as we progress. As we progress through our first session, we are going to be looking at how can they use that personal information against us. But first, let's take a moment and understand what is personal information.
Mm-mm. Just read, man.
All right, I'm just going to mute everyone. I know some people, you put yourself off mute by mistake, but we don't want your background noises to disturb everyone else. So just if you do want to unmute yourself, you do want to ask a question, you do have a comment, you're welcome to do so. But you can also use the chat button. So the chat button you are welcome to use to communicate with me or with the team. All right, so that was personal information. So personal information, obviously, anything that can be related to your identity, even things that you wouldn't normally consider, like your dog's name, your child's name. Those things are all personal information. And why are they personal? Why is it personal information? Because personal information can be used to access your accounts. So you don't need to tell me in this call today, but I'm sure if you ask yourself this question, are you using personal information in your passwords? If you are using personal information, you'll start to understand why putting it on the internet or using it in our passwords, it then becomes very easy to crack our passwords because the information is already out there and it's being used. So we'll look at password and password protection in more detail in subsequent sessions. But a key takeaway for you today is that if you use personal information in your password, you are already opening up a door for the cyber criminals to actually get into your accounts. This is how they hack into our accounts, is they have got software that can run hundreds of thousands of different combinations of your personal information. You're leaving it on the internet, and they are actually using that different combinations of that to hack into your account. So please, and we will look at later sessions, we are going to look at how you can actually use or how you can build really strong passwords that don't have personal information in, and you also need a different one for each account. But for today, please be aware that your password cannot contain personal information. Otherwise, it makes you much more vulnerable to people or cybercriminals hacking into your account. Before I move over to the next slide, I see that there is a comment in the chat section. It says that Amakwaya was waiting, Godwill Amakwaya was waiting on the video the whole time. Can I maybe just get comments from anyone else if they're having problems seeing or hearing the video? What we typically see many times is that if most people are
You
not
what?
having issues,
Which
if
toner
most
again?
Okay, let me just put this lady on mute. Maria, you are
Oh, it's
not
my
on
mic.
mute.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, please put yourself. Thank you, Maria. All right. So typically, if anyone else isn't having an issue, it's probably your internet, not to burst your bubble, but then it's your internet. It's not our internet. What I can recommend you try to do to fix that situation is please just leave the call and join again. Leave and join again. That should hopefully sort you out going forward. If not, I do apologize, but there's not much we can do about your internet. What you can expect to get the recording where you can play the recording again. So anything that you missed in the session today, it's going to be there in the recording for you. Okay. All right. So the next one we're going to look at is ways they use to get to us. Let me just quickly go to the next slide. There we go. So where do they get to us? Now, the bad news here for most of us is that it's most places on the internet. So all the social media accounts, the internet in general, Google, wherever, they can actually get to you there because it is a public platforms. And the biggest risk that we see here is not the using of the platforms. Please remember that these accounts are free. So you are signing up for terms and conditions that you agreed to when you signed up for the service. So Facebook, Gmail, all of that, you signed up, you said, I agree to the terms and conditions. And in those terms and conditions, if you didn't read them properly, there is stuff like they will make information publicly available and so on. So you really need to know what you signed up for. And unfortunately, if you're not happy with the terms and conditions you signed up for,
Hello.
you simply cannot use the service.
Uh,
Hello.
is it possible that you can do one and see?
Do one what? Sorry, Raquel, was that you? What would you like
Lando
me to
guide.
do? Maybe she's just unmuted herself. I'll just mute everyone again. All right, so please understand these are free services. Gmail, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these are free services. You need to read the terms and conditions before you sign up for these services, or go back and read them now. And if you're not comfortable with the level of information that is being shared about you, remember it can be used against you by cyber criminals because everybody uses these platforms. The criminals, there's no way for Facebook to know that you're a criminal before you sign up for an account. So please be aware that you do need to read those terms and conditions. Very important. There's no such thing as free. Everything comes with strings attached. You are giving them access to your information, to your data, and this is how they make money. We're going to explore in the subsequent session specifically all the different social media platforms and how they use the information that you are giving to them when you've signed up. But we're also going to look at how you can protect yourself by adjusting those security and privacy settings. So again, not to say you can't use it, but be aware if you haven't read the terms and conditions, you haven't adjusted your settings, your privacy and security settings, you are potentially opening yourself up for your account either to be hacked or lots of personal information to be shared about you on these platforms. The other thing that is very important to understand is about the free Wi-Fi. So again, there's no such thing as free. And be aware that within the free Wi-Fi, they are using, lots of criminals can also use the free Wi-Fi. It's free. There's no one that's stopping, that is stopping them from also using the free Wi-Fi. So again, not to say you can't use free Wi-Fi, but don't use free Wi-Fi when you are transacting banking transaction or anything that you don't want strangers to see. If you are using the free Wi-Fi, don't use access things on your mobile or on your computer or on your laptop, which you don't want other people to see. So free Wi-Fi, you can use it, but only use it for information that you are not afraid of other people seeing. So please be aware of that. The risky spaces are the internet, social media, as well as free Wi-Fi. And don't just accept the terms and conditions, read the terms and conditions. So I see there's some more activity in the chat. Please, Richard, I see that you cannot see. Please, most people can see what I am presenting and also hear me. Okay, wonderful. That's great. Yes, Richard, thank you so much. So please do remember that it can be internet, leave and join again, or otherwise we'll share the recording. We apologize. Internet is unfortunately part of our lives, or fortunately part of our lives. It does enable a lot, but when it's wonky, we get upset. So if you are having problems accessing anything that we're presenting today, do try to leave and join again, or alternatively, we'll send you the recording after the session. Good. So moving on. I'm going to just mention again that this is not technical training. Please don't expect to get a cybersecurity degree. And I don't think anybody wants a cybersecurity degree on the call today. Very technical, very complicated. But luckily for us normal human beings, we don't need a cybersecurity degree to be safe online. We just need to be aware of the places they can get us, the information we are sharing that they can get to us, and then also the ways that they can get to you. So you don't need to memorize this one for the test, but you do need to be aware that there's many different ways that the criminals can get to us. And I'm going to play you a short clip now about these different ways that they can get to you on the internet or social media. All right. So just again for awareness purposes, you'll see there on the let me just pause here. On the right hand side of the screen, there's a couple of things that we typically see on social media. Just be aware that if they ask for personal information, then you should already have the warning bells going off in your head, because things that they are presenting as quite standard or that you think is a game. It can just be a game. We're not saying that it's not, but as soon as they want personal information, then we should be super aware that this could potentially be a scam or a crime. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next slide, which is the types of cyber attacks. You don't need to know off by heart all of the different types of cyber attacks, but you do need to be aware of what malware and domain spoofing is. So malware is software that's specifically designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. And domain spoofing is a common form of phishing, which occurs when an attacker appears to use a company's domain to impersonate a company or one of its employees. This can be done by sending emails with false domain names which appear legitimate, or by setting up websites with slightly altered characters that read as correct. So definitely we are going to be taking you in subsequent sessions in quite a bit more detail on malware and domain spoofing. But what you do need to be aware of is that you need to be diligent and you need to really read communications that are coming your way or websites that you are visiting, because it's very easy for criminals to go and buy a domain. So a domain, for example, salt.na is our domain. It's Salt's domain. Salt.na is a domain, and from a domain you create email addresses like sales@salt.na or vanessa.marish@salt.na. Those email addresses are created from a domain. So it's very easy for criminals to go and buy a domain which looks very similar to yours. In our case, it might be replacing an A with an O, and then create email addresses, which is now sales@salt.na. And if you're not diligent, you do not pay attention to these details, then you can very easily be duped into responding to emails that are not legitimate. It's coming from a criminal who bought a domain which is similar to ours, and the same with a website. They can create really fantastic websites that are very close, looking the same as our websites, but the domain is different. So we will look at that as well, more detail in subsequent sections. So finally, what I'm going to play you now is a clip around the anatomy of attack, or the cyber kill chain. So you'll see the scary thing here is that there's so many components or many different players in a cyber kill chain. There are the people who actually have the malware or sell the malware, create it and sell it. There's the people who create the fake websites. There's the people who do the research about the individuals online. So it's not just a hoodie, a hacker in a hoodie anymore. There's lots of components and they operate a lot from the dark web. But we do need to be aware that all of these different pieces are put together in what we call a kill chain. And I'm going to play you this clip now around the anatomy of an attack. How does it work now exactly with all of these pieces of information they've collected about us, maybe creating fake websites and fake email addresses and using our personal information we've put online. So bear with us. We'll play a short clip on the anatomy of an attack. All right. So that was a bit more around the anatomy of an attack. I hope it becomes clear now, or more clear about how how all of this fits together, the personal information, where we leave the personal information, and the different players we have as part of this kill chain, and how they put everything together to actually commit these crimes or to perform these attacks. So also on the right-hand side, just for your benefit, there's just some clips from myself. I use myself as an example. Yes, I am on Facebook. I do post stuff about my personal life there. That's the purpose of social media. But I did make sure my settings are correctly set up so not everyone in the world can see it. But it's very easy to Google me and to find out where I work and see from our website what is the email address and then what is the website address, and very easy for a criminal to go and buy a fake domain or a real domain, but it will be not our domain, which is why it would be fake. It's not sold, and just to have one or two letters changed there. So very easy for them to do that, and that's why it's such a big problem. It's because it is so easy. One thing that you can do already today, and which I urge you today as a takeaway of today's session, is that you can go into Facebook and you can please go and make sure that your Facebook settings are the way that you feel comfortable with them. There is a difference between your Facebook followers and your friends. On Facebook, especially Hilma, I just see there's some comments again in the chat box. Please do leave and join again. You should, it's maybe just internet on your side. Please do leave and join again, and hopefully it'll be all right. We'll also share the recording so that you hopefully can hear everything then. Our apologies if you're having a internet wobbly. All right, so your followers are not your friends, but anyone can follow you on Facebook unless you go and remove that. Unless you go and actually go and remove that, you can't have followers. If you're a social media influencer or you have your own business you're promoting, that might be a requirement for you. But for the rest of us mere mortals, we don't want everybody in the world to see what we are up to, because we use it for posting personal information. So what you can do is there's some steps on the screen that you can go into Facebook and just go and see who your followers are. And then by clicking on your picture or your profile, you can go to settings and privacy and go in and untick the button for followers. I always use the example, if you're walking down Independence Avenue, you do not want 70,000 people that you don't know from a bar of soap all over the world checking what you are doing, your every move, when your kids' birthdays are, where you are physically, you're going on holiday. So please, unless you're a social media influencer, and even then, be wary and be aware that anyone can follow you if you haven't gone and unticked that on your settings and privacy, and you'll be quite shocked to see who currently is following you, and you should be uncomfortable with the fact that these people are watching you and seeing everything that you post or share online. Good. So as a takeaway for today's session, we're almost done. Please be aware the criminals are fast and smart, and they work a lot more than us a day. Lots of money to be made with cybercrime. They will use any means possible to get your personal information. We are in this together, team. Please, teamwork. If you need to make a WhatsApp group to share and collaborate with your family or friends, please do that, because it's us against them. Beware of social media. You, not to say you can't use it, just be aware of it. And then what you'll hear us a couple of times saying during this course is, if it is too good to be true, it is. It's not that we don't want you to win the money or marry the Nigerian prince. It's just that you need to really verify that what you are seeing online is legitimate, because online we don't have all our senses available to us. In the physical world, we do. We've got touch and smell and all of those things. In the online world, it's very easy to impersonate someone or to pretend to be something you're not. So with that, before we open for Q&A or discussions, I would like to share with you our WhatsApp bot. Yes, there is a WhatsApp bot. It's called the iSecure bot. The number is there for you on the screen, as well as the QR code. You can scan in the QR code. Join our WhatsApp bot. There's a lot of information on the WhatsApp bot, specifically for everyone really in the country. If you're a business owner or you're an employee of a business, you want to be more cyber resilient, or you're just an individual, or you just need advice or guidance, you can just send hello to that number. Hello, and out will pop a menu with all kinds of wonderful resources that are available to you. You can ask it questions. You can even leave it a voice note, in different languages. I don't think it's currently supporting our local languages, but you can leave it a voice note. It'll answer you. It'll point you in the direction of resources to guide you and to help you and your business or organization to be smart and become cyber resilient on the internet. So I will be sending out an email with everyone that's attended today with the recording, and then you can always reach out to me if you need more information. Reach out to us. You need more information. Anything wasn't clear, then you can refer either to the recording or reach out to us. We will be sharing this information readily with you. Then last but not least, we have our test. So you are again very welcome to scan in that QR code, and you can definitely scan that in and do the test in your own time. Try to do it before next week's session, so at least you have that insight and that clarity. The test will mark itself, so I'll set it up to mark itself. You are very welcome to then check back later by using the same link. You can just use the same link to go and check what your scores are, just to see how you scored. Like I said, if you do really well, like 70, 80% of the test of all of the sessions, we're going to give you a digital cybersecurity superhero badge. For those who don't have access to a QR code scanner, I will be putting the test link into the chat button or chat section. It should be there for you. You can click on that link. I promise it's a good link. It's not an evil link. It won't do anything bad. You can go and complete that test. You can also take that test or that feedback after the test to give us feedback if there's anything else that you need from us. We do offer a wide variety of services which come to you usually at no cost. If you need more information, you need guidance for yourself as an individual or as an organization, please use the feedback form to give us that feedback. So that then brings us to the end of today's session, our first session. Next one will be next week, again, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. You can use the same link to join. And I'd like to now open the floor for questions and answers, comments, feedback. I see there's already one from Richard in the chat. Please speak of chain messages, the ones that related to Forex. Those are scammers, right? Richard, you're going to have to give me a bit more clarity on that. Are these messages that are related to foreign exchange? Am I reading that correctly?
Thank you,
Yes.
Vanessa.
Okay. So it can be. We're going to show you in the later sessions, but maybe I can just mention this now. It's not necessary. Some of them may be legit, but if they are having any of the warning signs, then you should be always verify with a third party. So if they send you an email, don't send an email back. If they send you a WhatsApp, don't send a WhatsApp back. Find out where the origin is of the communication and phone them or email a different email address. That's to verify the identity of where this message is coming from, that it's legitimate. Because if they have impersonated, say, a website and they're sending emails from a specific domain, they probably obviously will not be answering the phone. So if it's Standard Bank, for example, Standard Bank, you can phone Standard Bank and say, you've received this communication. Is it legitimate? They'll very quickly tell you if it is or if it's not. So yes, it can be scammers or it can't be, but verify the identity by using a different manner of communication than the communication that came to you. So more important is that we know what those warning signs are, and I believe that we're going to start next week's session looking at those specific warning signs. I hope that answers your question, Richard. All right. Moving on. Anyone else? Comments, feedback, questions? Okay, so if there are no more questions or comments, please do have a look out during the course of the day for the feedback email, which will contain the recording. And you are welcome to do that test and follow the link later today. I'll set it up so it scores itself. We will then be engaging with you again next week. Please do share these links far and wide. the more people we have on here, the more we're going to curb down on the cyber criminals. We are empowering each other and ourselves by attending this training. So please share it far and wide. I would like to thank everybody for taking out time in your busy schedules to attend the session today. I know people are busy, but really it's worth making time for the session because you will be safer on the internet. So without further ado, I'll then say thank you very much to everyone. Hope to see everyone again next week. We'll have my colleague Grace presenting next week. I won't be around, but she always does a fantastic job. So we're looking forward to seeing you next week and also on the subsequent sessions. Great
Vanessa,
session, everyone. Yes, Melinda.
Yes, from my side, from the ministry side, we appreciate you coming on board. This is an initiative, like I said at the beginning, a partnership between the ministry and South Essential. So we are happy to have you. Please finish the training, attend all the courses for the good of all of us, and please convey the message. Whatever you learn from here, convey to the next person so that we all are safe on the internet. Thank you so much, and see you next Friday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Yes, very exciting. Keep an eye out on our social media pages. We post lots of tips and tricks, both us from MICT and SALT. See everybody next week, same time, same place.
See you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.